More pictures too.
We are back.
Hey.
Back in the den. Welcome home, and it is seriously entertaining. Of course, you got Mr.
and Mrs.
Smith, and you're tuned in to another episode of We Are. See, when we say we are royalty, that doesn't exclude you. We want you to understand that just like we are royalty, we view you as royalty, but we got to tell you over and over again so that you can accept it and embrace it for yourself. But today's topic, and of course, you know, we talk about economic empowerment, how to better your situation financially, but today's topic is going to be all about credit. The how-tos of credit. You see, credit plays a part no matter what it is that we're doing in life for the most part, to the point where you at least want to know where you stand, at least want to know how to dictate whether it's high or low, because you can control certain things that credit is affected by. So we want to give you some of the how-tos of credit, some of the things you need to be conscious of, and hopefully encourage you to challenge yourself to start bettering your credit. So we got a list. It's about 9 how-tos that we can dive into so you can just kind of get a glimpse of what it is that credit is doing to you personally, so you can start making a change. Because if you don't know where you are, how can you tell where you're going? So we want to show you where you are and get you to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, alongside the how-tos and things that you need to know about credit, we have a couple of examples for you.
Yes.
We have some numbers for you. So we hope that everyone has their pen and their paper so that you can take some really good notes and you can see where you are. A lot of our business partners, they say, friends don't let friends have bad credit. All right. And so we feel the exact same way. If you know anything about us, we are all about empowering the people. All right. We want to make sure that everybody's in a position to do whatever it is that you want to do financially. Credit is a very important facet to doing what you want to do. All right. Being able to live how you want to live financially. So we want all of y'all to do us a favor and just invite. We also want you to share this video or tag one of your friends for sure. Invite one of them so that they can also start working on that credit. All right. Again, 2018, I say the year of financial freedom.
Absolutely.
All right. That's what I wish for everybody in 2018, but you can't achieve that without taking any action. All right. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Because we talk to a lot of people, and a lot of you guys say that you want to better your financial situation, or that you want to, increase your credit score. And when we give you the game plan, guess what? You do absolutely nothing with it. All right. So you have to be prepared mentally. All right. What we talked about in the very first episode, you have to believe that you can have good credit in order to have good credit. All right. Alongside putting in the work. All right. You got anything to add before we dive in?
No, you definitely have to take the action. So in the comments, go ahead and put that you're ready for the first how-to. Put a number 1 in the comments if you're ready for the first how-to as it relates to what you need to know about credit.
Yes.
You see, credit is basically a measurement of your credibility. See, that's how they view you as an individual. When you're talking to banks or you're talking to different creditors, they're viewing your credibility, and based on your credibility, that what determines or dictates your credit score. So they're just trying to see how credible you are. Can they depend or rely on you to do what you said you were going to do as it relates to making payments? So credit and credibility go hand in hand. So it's a score. So it's not everything, but it plays a huge part, and you have to understand that so you can get your score where you need it to be, because it proves your credibility. So I hope you type in the 1s in the comments so we can give you the first how-to that you need to understand as it relates to your journey towards better credit.
Yeah, and let me just add this, put this out here as well before we get into the how-tos. You guys, it's one thing for you to pay somebody to fix your credit, all right? Because a lot of us, we don't have time, right? Even though we all have the same 24 hours in a day, we don't have time to fix our own credit, right? But here's the thing about paying someone to do your credit. You're still going to end up doing the bulk of the work. So there's some things that you really need to understand for yourself. Another thing, you can fix your own credit.
Absolutely.
You can't increase your credit scores on your own, but you have to know what you're looking for. You have to know, have an understanding of what you're doing. I also want you to just think about this. If you pay somebody to do paying anywhere from like $100 to $300 a month for someone to repair their credit. Well, guess what happens when you start to backslide? Because we backslide, right?
Absolutely.
Every now and then, get that score up there, and it's just like, whoa, what's going on? Why is it going back down?
Yep.
If you don't know what to do to fix it, guess what? You have to go and pay them again. All right. So you still have to have a little bit of knowledge on your own. You can most definitely do it. All right.
The power, it changes the whole dynamics. Now you know what's causing you to have bad credit down to the T. Now you know what you need to do in order to get out of debt or build wealth through investment. So our whole movement, our whole mission is centered around empowering you. This is no different. So credit is a piece to the puzzle. We want you to be empowered to understand that you can do it yourself without being at the mercy of someone else. So I'm glad you brought that up. I just had to add that small tidbit.
Yes, most definitely. All right, how to's, things that you need to know how to do. All right, that's why it's called the how to's. Number one, you need to know how to obtain your credit report and your credit scores, or your credit scores. You have to know how to obtain those things in order for you to know where you are. It's very important, you guys, that we know where we are. Some of us haven't even pulled our credit reports.
Right.
We haven't even pulled it for a lot of different reasons. We're scared of what we're going to see, right? We don't know what's going on with their credit. A lot of times we have high expectations of what we're going to see, or just being all out scared. You have to start somewhere. You have to know where you are in order to know where you're going. All right. Like Marcus said earlier. So you have to know how to obtain your credit report or your credit scores in order for you to take the first step. All right. So that is the first step. If you're ready for number 2, give us a number 2 in the comments. All right. I see some of our business partners hopping on. Hey, y'all. Let us know if you didn't at the beginning of the video. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Invite a friend that you want to see doing better. All right, especially as it pertains to finances, because again, friends don't let friends have bad credit, y'all. Seriously, if you're ready for number 2, put a number 2 in the comments.
Tools in the comments. Tools in the comments. See, the how-tos is what lets you know that you can do it. A lot of times we search for how to do this, how to do that. But if you have a set roadmap or a game plan or a step-by-step process, that just makes your process easier. So what we're doing is giving you the shortcut, or at least trying to shorten your learning curve, so you're not having to figure it all out yourself, and you can dive in deeper on each one of these how-tos. So tools in the comments, so we can give you the second how-to and elaborate on it, and then lead to the further how-tos. Let's get that credit together. Like she said, 2018 is the year of financial freedom, but financial freedom doesn't happen immediately when you start. You got to start planting those seeds, and then that harvest comes, and even though you started in 2018, you might witness the harvest, the financial freedom, in 2020 or beyond. But if you never got started, then you can't expect 2020 to look any different than 2018. So these are the how-tos. Let's start planting the seeds today so we can start accomplishing that freedom. All
right, number 2, you guys, how to read your credit report. Think about that.
Yes.
If you pull your credit report and you don't know what the heck you're looking at,
right.
I want you to think about how far you're going to go. You need to understand how to read that credit report. All right. You need to know what's contributing to your credit score being so high or being so low or being, mediocre. You got to know how to read that thing. All right. And then another thing, there's different, I'm just going to say there's different companies, so you have a few different scores. What is it called? I don't know why it slipped my mind. But
you have you got the Experian, you got the TransUnion, you got the Equifax. And when you pull it, most people just pull it and they see the score or they see what's on the reports. But you have to know how to read it in order for it to tell you what it is that it needs you to know. So that's what the how-to of understanding how to read it comes in handy, because it's otherwise just gibberish. If you're looking at it and you don't know what's really hindering your credit just based on some numbers or some wording that they put there, then you pulled your report, but it was almost for nothing. So you have to learn how to read it in order to decipher it and do something about it. Once you know how to read it, now you can do what you need to do in order to better it. So that's definitely a strong how-to. So you got the first one as it relates to pulling the reports, but now you need to understand how to read what it is that you've pulled.
Right.
Makes sense. It's simple, but it's complex at the same time.
All right, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, you guys. Give us a number 3 if you are ready for the number 3. How to, the third how to. All right, and while you're putting those 3s in the comments, I'm going to just go ahead and throw it out there.
Uh-oh.
How to dispute items on your report. Okay? Because again, we're pulling a report, we see our scores. What next? What is this? Right? Because some people have that moment, that aha moment where they're like, what in the world? What is this? Where did it come from? It may be a case of identity theft, right? Somebody used your credit for you and you were so scared to pull your scores. It's just been on there forever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you need to know how to dispute items on your report. All right. Number 4, and I'm going to let you go ahead and say what you want to say about how to dispute items, but if y'all are ready for number 4, go ahead and put a number 4. So what you want to say?
4 is in the comments. As it relates to disputing, you see a lot of times the stuff that's on your credit is stuff that should not be there. So if you understand that, then you have to dispute it. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the stuff that's on there, you did. It's legit. However, depending on the circumstances, you can still dispute it. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do on their end, then they have to remove it. If they remove something that's negative on your credit based on you disputing it, whether it was yours or not, then that's just hiding your credit score. So you got to understand, disputing it works on things that doesn't directly apply to you because you may not have done it. They may have got some stuff mixed up or some type of identity fraud or whatever the case may be, but it also works on things that you have done. But here it is, the creditors a lot of times aren't doing their job. You got to understand, it's someone else, and it always has the ability to have some type of human error. There's always someone else behind the scene that could have made a mistake, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do in a timely fashion. So when you disputed it, if they didn't do what they were supposed to do, guess what? It has to come off of your credit, and it has to come off the credit in a timely fashion. In conjunction to that, it's a lot of times where they may send off your credit history or something, whatever it is, the agreement that you had with the particular company, they may have sent that off to someone else, and now it has gone into collections. So your agreement wasn't with the collectors. It wasn't with the person who has the new terms, right, or the collection agency. It was with the original entity. So once you understand that and you dispute it, if they can't prove that they still have it or that they send it off to someone else, then they have to remove it as well. So it's a lot of key facets in place, but you want to dispute it, get it off of your credit, because the name of the game is strategically to boost your credit score by any means necessary, and they have to do their part just like you're doing your part.
Definitely. Number 4, you guys, number 4, put the 4s in the comments.
4s in the comments,
I know
please.
Somebody is typing this up in the comments as we go, and I love when y'all do that so that when people hop on, they can kind of catch up. All right, so the number 4 is how to remove negative payment history. Okay, we all know, depending on the company, certain companies affect your credit. All right, being late on your payments can affect your credit. Missing payments can affect your credit. All right, but you have to know, if you're trying to remove those things, you got to know how to do it, right?
Absolutely. And emphasis on negative payment history. You see, a lot of times people go in and they just, or they hire somebody to fix their credit or repair their credit, and they just start removing everything. Well, if you remove everything, now you just remove the positive credit history as well. Not everything with that particular company was negative. You might have had 12 or 11 months of positive credit history or payment history, and 1 month where you slipped up, something happened, and you weren't able to pay it at the timely fashion. You just want to remove that. You want to keep all of the other 11 good months. So you got to keep that in mind. So emphasis on removing the negative payment history, and once that's off of your slate, now your slate just got that much more cleaner. You just got that much more closer to the credit score that you desire. But you have to understand all of the other things prior to getting to this point before you can understand how to remove that negative payment history.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that some companies won't even report the good stuff.
Right.
They only report the bad stuff. Ain't that jacked up? I used to, personally, I used to work for a company, and people used to call in all the time and ask, hey, I'm making my payments on time. Will this reflect on my credit? And I had to say, sadly, no. We only report the bad stuff, which is crazy. But you have to understand that some companies are like that. They're not going to report the good stuff. but they will report the bad. All right, you slip up, it's on your credit.
Absolutely.
Let us know if you're ready for number 5, y'all. Give us a number 5. Also, I don't really see any thumbs or hearts floating across the screen. Y'all are either taking really good notes or you ain't rocking with us. All right, give us some thumbs, give us some hearts. There we go. Give us some thumbs and some hearts floating across the screen. There we go. We like to see them, y'all. It increases our energy. Thumbs,
it pumps
hearts.
us up. We love it.
Yes, and write that number 5 in the comments. All right, number 5 is how to reduce credit utilization.
Gotta love it. See, credit utilization is basically how much of your credit have you utilized, how much of your credit have you used. So, for example, if you have a credit card and the balance is $1,000, let's just start there. $1,000, if you've used or maxed out that credit card at $1,000, then that's 100% of your credit utilization. It doesn't look good because you have no cushion, no room. It shows that you're always maxing out your ability to borrow. Absolutely. So that being said, they feel like you always need that money. You're maxing out your ability to borrow, but that's 100% credit utilization. However, if $300 was spent on that same credit card of $1,000, that's 30% of the credit utilization, and it serves as you being a better borrower, basically, because you have 70% of that credit limit that is not being used. So believe it or not, that makes your credit score jump just because you lowered your credit utilization. You know, some people believe in having it below 20% or below 10%. Some believe in the 1/3 rule. Take the max amount, divide it by 3, and whatever that third is, just don't go anything above that, and you're good to go. Different scenarios work for different things that you're trying to accomplish as it relates to what you want to do with your credit. But the name of the game is keep that credit utilization low, so that way you can have more spending power, which boosts your credit, and now you can borrow more or leverage credit to do other things. So you got to understand that credit utilization, and the best way to make sure that credit utilization is low is by increasing your cash flow in other areas, so you can lower whatever it is that you owe on that credit card. So that's a whole nother topic as it relates to increasing your cash flow, which you've heard us talk about multiple times. But you want to increase that cash flow because that additional cash flow allows you to lower your credit utilization, which is a huge percentage. By the way, a huge percentage of what's affecting your credit. You see, it's different percentages of things that go into your credit. Credit utilization is like at least 1/3 of what goes into you having a good or a bad credit score. So sometimes when a person lowers their credit utilization, they boost their credit score pretty rapidly because that was a large chunk of what was affecting your credit in the first place. So credit utilization is huge.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's funny because last week, we talked about ways to increase your cash flow.
True.
So again, y'all, we're giving you nuggets. It's up to you to pick them up, all right, and actually apply. So if you're ready for number 6, let us know that you are ready for number 6. Put a 6 in the comments. I see the thumbs.
I see them thumbs and hearts. We love it.
Y'all.
We love it.
Yes, it's always super, super exciting to see. So number 6, you guys, is you need to know how to add credit history, all right? How to add credit history. You want to elaborate on that? It kind of flows into number 7 as well. So you want to add on to that, or you want me to kind of flow into number 7 as well?
Well, yeah, flow into number 7 and then we'll merge the two.
Number 7, y'all, is how to properly apply for new credit. So number 6, how to add credit history, and number 7, how to properly apply for new credit.
Now, see, sometimes a person doesn't have the credit that they would like to have, mainly because they just don't have enough stuff on their credit. You know, if you're starting from scratch and you've never borrowed any money, never had a credit card, never had an auto loan, or, you know, different things that are associated with you borrowing money, then you don't have anything for them to judge your credibility on. So it's not that you have horrible credit, it's just that you have little to no credit. So you need more things on your credit in order to give them something to scale from. just need some things to just prove that you have been borrowing properly. So in order to do that, sometimes you have to add other things to your credit in order to show that you have what it takes in order to borrow properly, and make sure you're doing what you need to do in order to keep your credit in good standing. And sometimes that allows you or puts you in a position to where you have to apply for new credit. You know, you have to get a secure credit card. You have to get, sometimes people use when they're like getting a TV or like when they're like rent a center thing. Yeah, something small. Just to boost their credit.
And I was going to actually say that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I was going to point that out. You guys, a lot of the times we feel the only way to build our credit is to get a credit card.
Right.
I don't know, maybe because it got the word credit in it. But that is not the only way to build your credit. We actually did a video on this probably about a year ago. There are multiple ways to build your credit. I actually learned, growing up, hey, go ahead and get you a credit card, apply for your credit card so that you can build your credit. But it's not the only thing to do. And actually, it kind of traps a person. I hate when I look back and I see how frivolously I used to spend on my credit card. You can actually do something, like we said, leasing something small like TV or furniture, which I know sounds crazy, but it's actually building up your credit, you guys. And I also say do something where you can't keep running it up. Here's the thing about a credit card. Let me tell you what I mean. Okay, if I had a $3,000 limit, and let's say I spent $2,500 and I paid it off, or I was in the middle of paying it off, then I run it back up because I had an emergency, right? And I don't have an emergency fund. So I'm running it up, paying it off, running it off, paying it off, paying it down. So here's the thing. You want to put yourself in a position to where you're not going to rely on that money, or you're not going to rely on whatever it is that you're using to build your credit, so that you don't find yourself digging yourself in a hole. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure. The interest on those credit cards are ridiculous. You buy your pair of shoes, can't pay them shoes off, and guess what? You pay for the shoes 2 or 3 times because that interest will kill you. Right?
Absolutely. And think about the things that you're swiping a credit card for. If you look at it in terms of interest rate, it's almost like you leased your shoes, or you put your food on credit. It's almost like you lease your food, because now the meal that you swiped months ago is still gaining interest, and you're still paying back for simple things. So keep that in mind. And another thing as it relates to, having new credit, the secure credit cards, how they work is you go to a bank typically, and then say, for instance, you want to build some new credit. You actually give them $1,000 or $500, $300, whatever it is you want to start off of, and now they give you a credit card that's supported by the money that you gave them. So it's not like you're borrowing. You gave them the money, they just gave you the card. So now as you swipe and you show that you're credible as it relates to your spending, as it relates to not maxing out that card itself, now it just puts you in a position to where you were able to control the money that you gave them, which gave you a certain credit limit, and now you just have to prove through your swiping how good you are as it relates to your spending habits. So that's another way a lot of people use that method, the secure credit card, because it gives them the ability to open up some new credit using their own money and just, be mindful of your spending. Simple.
Yeah, most definitely, y'all. If you are ready for number 8, give us the number 8 in the comments, please.
Ace in the comments, please.
Let's get it. Number 8, and I really have a good example and some other things that I really want you guys to write down after we finish up this list. All right, so we're almost done with the list, and then we're going to get into the second half of the video where we give you some examples where you can see what we're talking about, and we're going to give you an example of 2 different people. All right, so number 8 is how to get credit mixture.
Credit mixture is basically just having different forms of credit, because different forms of credit affect your credit in different ways.
Most definitely.
Credit cards affect your credit different from an auto loan. Yep. Auto loans affect your credit a little bit different from a mortgage. And personal loans affect your credit a little bit different. So having a combination of those things is kind of like what we say about investing. You want to diversify. You want to have some form of diversification. You want to have not all your eggs in one basket, because you put yourself in a position of losing all your eggs. same kind of thing works with credit, but it wants you to mix it up and have different things to show that, look, not only am I good at swiping the credit card, I'm able to keep my credit utilization down below 30%, 20%. I also pay my auto loan off in time properly, and I've paid off a car. I paid off 2 cars. I'm also paying my mortgage. I'm also paying back this personal loan that I took out. So all of those things give them another perspective of how to judge how well you are with utilizing your credit. So that credit mixture gives you a mixture of things that they can judge, which heightens your credit score, because the more things you have, the more diversified you are, the more you look like a credible spender. So those things all combined heighten your credit. So credit mixture is a key piece. A lot of people miss that, but it's a percentage that goes into affecting your credit score.
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, it's like diversifying.
Yep.
You know, what we say about an investment portfolio. So it's almost the same. It's definitely different assets to it, y'all. I'm telling you, the credit game is crazy. All right. Sometimes I used to sit back and say, like, who came up with this stuff?
Right.
Why do we got to do this? All right, y'all. Number nine is how to check disputes. You're going through mailing off all these letters and doing all these things. Y'all, sometimes it's a matter of, okay, I know I made a mistake. I know I'm at fault for this. Sometimes you just have to pay the stuff off. But if you are rightfully disputing things on your credit and trying to get things removed, you have to know how to check those disputes. You have to know how to see what the status is, you know, be in communication with the different companies in order to see exactly, you know, what the status is on those disputes.
I love it because basically sometimes you put yourself in a position, or basically when you're checking the disputes, it may not have remove something right away, so you might have to redispute, or you might have to make a tweak or two and send the letter off again, and then it might fall off that next go round. So you just got to check the disputes, see if everything lines up or what else you have to do, and then just go from there. So basically you're just check and balance. Once you get the feedback that you were seeking, then you stop there, you focus on other things to keep heightening your credit. So you just have to keep checking. It usually happens in cycles of like every 30 days because you're given a window to which they can respond. And, you know, from that, you get a letter back, and then that cycle continues. So 30, 60, 90 days is a nice duration to be able to make some positive change in your credit, but you have to check those disputes.
Yeah. And you guys, here's the thing. We are all about do it yourself as it pertains to a lot of things. Yes, because we're all about empowering the people. And I feel like a lot of our people, we look for handouts. We look to just, let me just pay somebody to do it. You know, do it yourself. You guys, get educated. We are stern on the do it yourself credit repair. It just makes sense to me to be educated in a ton of different areas. How else are you going to pass this knowledge down for generations if you don't even know? So that's what we're all about. If you're not about to do it yourself, you might be following the wrong couple, but that is what we are all about. You have to know how to do some of these things yourself. You have to know how to get in a good place financially, sometimes independently, you know, opposed to relying on other people. You know, recently we talked to a lot of people about do it yourself, and I don't know if it was the fact that it was do it yourself that scared people, or if they just really wanted somebody to do it for them. People even ask us, you know, do you repair credit? Can y'all do it for me? No, maybe down the line, you know, we might take a couple clients, but it's not what we want to do. We would much rather empower our people with the knowledge to do it. A lot of us also, we don't want to pay for things. We don't want to invest in ourselves. Well, here's the thing. If you knew how to do it yourself, why are you in the position that you're in?
Correct.
All right. Sometimes you have to keep it real with yourself. Like, okay, look, for the past 10, 15 years, I've been kind of struggling. It's time for me to do something different. I might need to, you know, pay a little bit of money or invest in myself in order to get to where I'm trying to go. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. Again, if you don't want to pay for any type of, you know, even a do-it-yourself platform, you guys, somebody had to put that content together. It's not just going to be out there for free, but you can Google some things. We just gave you a checklist of things that you need to know how to do. Research. We have available to us the World Wide Web.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say this probably on every single show because we have to get out of our comfort zones. We have to quit being so lazy, and we got to put in work. We just gave you a checklist of 9 things you need to know how to do. If you don't want to pay for any type of do-it-yourself credit program, if you don't want to pay somebody else to do it, do the research. You can knock these things out once a week. You know, learning, pulling documents, printing off papers. Come on, y'all. Put in some work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like she said, we could repair a person's credit, but it's in our best interest to have your best interest at heart. And what I mean is, if we just did your credit and you learned nothing from it, you didn't gain anything. I mean, yeah, you might have got a higher credit score, but you can't pass the knowledge or any knowledge because you didn't gain any down to your future generation. See, knowledge is one of those things that outlives us. Yes. And if you have some knowledge and you pass down the knowledge, now they're able to be in a better place because they know more than you did because they have the knowledge that they acquire plus the knowledge that you gave them. But if you just pay somebody, then you didn't learn anything from it. Now I'm all for paying people for their services of certain things, or not always do everything. Isn't do it yourself for me, but as it relates to your money, a tool that everybody uses that allows them to, you know, set themselves up financially or build some type of generational wealth, you want to have some control or some knowledge base on your money, on your finances. Now, I'm all for paying somebody to cut the grass or paying somebody to fix a car if that's not my expertise. But money is a tool that everybody uses. And if you're not learning about money, then there's somebody on the other end of the table who's capitalizing off your lack of knowledge. I'm gonna just put it like that. A lot of people are in a position to where they just want to use big words or big terms or make some things seem more difficult than what they really are so they can capitalize off your lack of knowledge and get your money. So it's important for you to understand money. It's important for you to understand investing. It's important for you to understand credit, because once you understand all of those things, it puts you in a place to where even if you did pay somebody to do certain things, you at least know when they're messing up. You at least know when they're not doing the things like they should be doing. So take your finances serious enough to accept empowerment when it's given to you, because it's in our best interest to have your best interest at heart. And the way that we have your best interest at heart is to empower you with the knowledge. That way, once you learn it, you can do it efficiently yourself without us. And if that's the best place to be able to do it without us, that brightens us up.
Yes, most definitely. So you guys, before we get into the examples and explain to you what excellent credit is and good credit is, we're going to take a really quick break. All right, we're going to get back into that. So stay here. All right, stay tuned. Give us some thumbs and some hearts, and we'll be right back in just a second. Yes. We're back, y'all. Told you it was a quick break. Really quick break. All right. So let's talk about, and we kind of did this backwards, but Marcus got straight into the steps. We kind of did this backwards. But let's go over what is considered good credit, right? What's considered excellent credit? What's considered bad credits? I have the numbers.
Let's talk about the numbers.
Let's talk. Excellent credit, you guys, is 750 and above. Okay? That is considered excellent credit. I know somebody with excellent.
They laugh.
Okay. Good credit, 700 to 749. All right, so if y'all are taking notes, put this in the comments for real.
Drop it in the
Excellent
comments.
credit, 750 and above. Good credit is 700 to 749. Fair credit is 650 to 699. I see a lot of people in this category. 650 to 699. Okay, that was fair. Poor credit, 550 to 649 is considered poor credit. And bad credit is 550 and below. We'll talk about that.
So those are the ranges. I mean, determine where you are,
Yes,
and where you want to be. Now, since this is We Are Royalty, we wouldn't challenge you to do anything but exceed and aim for excellent credit, which was 750 and above. So we wouldn't, we'll be doing you a disservice to say, just settle for under 750. Now, go ahead. If you're going to work on your credit, like we're suggesting and like we're recommending, then strive for the best. Go ahead and get above 750 if you can. The credit score goes up to 850. So it's a lot of room there, to get over 800, to get into the 750 club, the credit club, because now that allows you to put yourself in a position to where you can borrow or leverage your credit. Now, we're not big on just borrowing money, but credit can be used as a tool in order to get some of the things that you need, or to reinvest and build some wealth as well if you're doing it properly. But it all starts with you knowing where you are based on those numbers and striving for excellent, which is 750 or better.
Yeah, I mean, some of y'all are probably shaking your head like, man, I didn't know, my credit was considered poor,
Right.
But again, you have to set those goals for yourself, and you really have to push yourself. We're giving you actionable steps that you can literally get off of this video and start applying. The question is, do you really want it? How bad do you want it? How bad are you going to put in the work and making it happen? Quit believing your excuses. It's one thing for you to put excuses out there, but when you start to believe that you don't have time, I mean, because that one is one of the biggest ones we hear, right?
Biggest ones.
We were talking to people about watching a 6-minute video. Let's talk about it. A 6-minute video. Do y'all know people were saying, oh, I can do it tomorrow? So you mean to tell me you don't have 6 minutes? Please write out your schedule, because I can find 6 minutes. I could find 6 minutes in anybody's day, okay, to watch a quick video. But it wasn't a matter of you not having 6 minutes. It's a matter of you weren't really serious about bettering your credit, or you weren't really serious about doing what you say you wanted to do. All right, so quit believing your excuses, not just giving excuses, but when you believe, I don't have time, when you believe, I don't have money, when you believe, I'm tired, because we hear everything, right? When you believe my cat dying is the reason why I can't better myself, it's really a problem. It really is. So you have to believe that you can have better, and then carve out the time, you guys. Cut the TV off. Quit scrolling Facebook. If you look at the stats, the Facebook stats show that a person will scroll and get lost in scrolling their news feed for minimum 30 minutes to an hour. A 30-minute to 1 hour window of just scrolling. I catch myself every time, especially when I get sleepy. I'll pull out that phone, I'm just scrolling, I'm watching videos, eyes just getting heavy. But it's true. You have the time. You have to carve out that time. You have to demand your time. Another thing that we say all the time, and I'll get off of the excuses, because I don't like excuses.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't like excuses. I like for people to take action. All right. We have the same time, same 24 hours as Oprah, as Tyler Perry.
Right.
As Donald Trump. We have the same 24 hours, is all I'm saying. Then everybody, especially the most successful ones, what in the world do you think they were doing to get their success? You think they were sitting around and, just working jobs? No, they were working on themselves. They were working on their credit. They were working on their situation in order to get to where they are today. They were working on that business. You know, they may have worked multiple jobs. Like I heard Tyler Perry say he worked multiple jobs and he was still writing his plays and getting the cast together and auditioning and practicing. We have 24 hours. You might want to cut out some of your sleeping time. You know, it could be a matter of that. Sometimes we sleep a lot. So you do have the time. It's just a matter of demanding that time, all right? Working out a schedule for yourself and putting in work.
And truth be told, once you get the ball rolling, you get into the process, it doesn't take a lot of time.
Right.
You know, it's just a matter of you looking at pulling the credit report, reading it, understanding what it is that you see, disputing, you know, so you're mailing out the letters, and now you're just waiting because you've done that part.
Exactly.
So a lot of this stuff doesn't require a lot of time, but the question is, will you make it a priority? You know, how serious are you truly about bettering your credit? It's all about priority. People make time for what they want to make time for.
Yes,
if
sir.
that's not something you want to do, then that's cool. You know, we're not here to bash you because you don't want to better your credit, but we hear that that's one of the number one things that people want to do as it relates to their finances.
Yeah.
A lot of people would rather better their credit than start their own business or make money from home or invest. You know, if you tally up, fixing your credit is one of the number one things. So that's why we chose this topic at this time, because it's still early enough in the year for you to fix the number one thing that you said you wanted to fix.
Exactly.
That being your credit. So it's a matter of priority. So if you prioritize it properly and you make it to where you're like, hey, by any means necessary, I'm going to better my credit. Now, nothing else gets in the way. Think about the things that you make time for. Think about the things that you say, hey, if nothing, you know, hell, high water come, I'm going to make sure this happens. That's the type of action that you have to take, or the mindset you have to adopt in order to better your credit as well. And then you realize it's simple. And now you're working towards accomplishing that goal. You get that goal accomplished and you feel a bit of accomplishment because you stuck to what it is that you said you wanted to do. So it's our way of just kind of letting you know, look, we're not buying the excuses. We know you said you wanted to do it and you're doing everything in your head to talk yourself out of it, but don't allow yourself to do that, because you will appreciate yourself once you accomplish what it is that you set out to accomplish. And that happens with everything that you want to accomplish in life. But most people have time to allot towards bettering their credit. And now once you better your credit, it trickles down and makes your other areas of your life come together as well. So this is just one piece, but it leads to multiple pieces as well. So you definitely want to prioritize, make sure you understand the things that we put in that list. Hopefully you wrote them down. If not, this video will be available to rewind and press play, but find out where you are in your credit and where you want to go, and just prioritize it. We spend a lot of time on the mindset because we got to kind of get through the things that are distracting you. See, online is a big distraction if you let it be. You see, a lot of times when you get online, you can either get distracted and you're following someone else's agenda, or you can get online and actually learn some things because you're tuning into us, you're watching us online. You're able to learn at the same place that has the ability to distract you. So it's just a matter of choices. Yep. You're choosing which fork in the road you want to take. Do you want to go this way and learn something while you're online and connect with people who can take you to the next level? Or do you want to fall victim to the distractions that lead you to nowhere and put you in the same place 5 years from now as you are today? So it's just a matter of taking the right choices and prioritizing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. All right. So here's an example, you guys. We have two people, all right? We have person A and we have person B. Both of them are trying to get a $23,000 car, right?
Okay.
These cars are not cheap. Person A has a 730 credit score, right? Which falls in the good category.
Good. If you've been taking notes, you knew what that was.
Yes. Person B has a 599 credit score, which actually falls in the poor category. Okay, here's the thing. Person A, because their credit, is above 700, they can get an interest rate under 3%. Okay, we're not saying you're gonna go get an interest rate under 3%, but I've seen it happen.
Absolutely.
And I know you've seen it happen for sure. Because their credit is so good, you guys, they can get an interest rate under 3%. Person B can get as high as a 14% interest rate. 14%. I just want you to think about that. So having bad credit can also cost you money.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a whole nother video.
Absolutely.
Because it really can. Having bad credit, and that's just a car.
Right.
It was funny when I found out, funny to me, but not funny for other people, to find out that even your utilities can be higher because of your credit score. What? Okay, so having bad credit can cost you money. You want to elaborate?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it does. It costs you money, literally. They put it in the framework of percent or interest rates. So you kind of, overlook it. But it's actually costing you more money for the same vehicle. The person who buys the same car, who has the highest interest rate, paid more for the same car that the person who had a better score got. So that being said, it's literally costing you money. And when you understand wealth principles, when you understand that, interest rates are digging into your pockets, you'll view it as a form of disrespect if somebody gives you a 14% interest rate, 10% interest rate, because that's robbing you of your wealth, literally. Because if you had that money in a place to where it was gaining that same 14%, then that $23,000 that you would have spent on that car just made you a millionaire because it was invested and gaining that percentage rate. So this is what happened. If you were charged 14% interest on that car due to your bad credit, you just made the banks wealthy. They already have money, but just imagine how many people are doing this. So they just got wealthy off of your low credit score, which caused you to pay more, even though you didn't have the money that, you could have had. Now you just paid more for a car that somebody else got for a lot less, and they made 14%. And if you understand the rule of 72 and how your money doubles over a certain amount of time, they made 6 figures plus off of your low credit score. So that's literally disrespectful, and it is costing you more money. So credit is a key piece to the puzzle. And like you said, sometimes people pay more in utilities, but I've heard of people not being able to get a job due to their lack of credit. Credibility. Credit and credibility go hand in hand. They want to know how credible you are to yourself with your own finances. Because if you're not credible to yourself, why should I hire you? Why should I loan you this? Why should I, give you any benefits? Because you're not credible to yourself. So you got to understand that it's a scorecard that they're using to track your ability to spend. So it's costing you more money just because of the low credit score.
Yeah, and I was going to also add, person B might even need a cosigner. Might even need a cosigner for the car, y'all, which is crazy. So here's another thing that we want to point out about this car, all right, person A and person B. Because of person B's credit score, not only will they be paying almost double the monthly payment. All right, where you gonna get that money from? You're paying almost double monthly for the car. So again, your lack of good credit is costing you money. Not only will you be paying double monthly, you're going to make more payments because you're paying more with such a high interest rate.
Absolutely.
So you're paying more money monthly and you're making more payments than person A, who will be able to pay off their car in a decent amount of time. Crazy. And when you
understand how it works, the first portion of when you're paying off your car, even with the mortgages, most of it is going to interest. Most of it is not going to the principal. If you look at it and you see that you've paid $5,000 towards their car, if you had a high interest rate, pretty much 80+% of that went towards interest, because they want to make sure they get their money on the front end, just in case you decide that you no longer want the car or the car stops working. Let me make my money on the front end of this deal, because they want to make sure they're profitable or that they're getting a good rate of return based on the money that they loaned you. So you got to understand that first and foremost, because now when you're paying these high interest rates, not only is it not knocking down the overall principal, which is basically the amount you actually owe on the car, it's going directly to the bank. So you're not really owning the car for the first certain amount of years due to your low credit score. So that's a huge piece that people miss. And because of it, they find themselves wondering why they never got ahead. It's because you didn't understand and make the simple tweaks that were necessary in order to put you on the winning side of interest rates. See, it's not a bad thing for things to have high interest. You just need to be on the right side of it. We want you to be on the right side of a high interest rate, not being capitalized on. And that all starts with you being empowered yourself by your credit. That's why we're all about empowerment, because everything ties into one another. Once you understand that everything goes together, then you realize, okay, I need to have my credit right so I can pay lower interest rate. I pay lower interest rate. I keep more of my money. I got more money to invest. And now I can earn money off the interest rate that are charged on the back end because I'm investing in the right stuff, and that money just grew. And now I'm living off of my investment, and I can retire when I want to and leave a legacy, so it all goes hand in hand. But if you're not empowered or you don't understand this, then they manipulate you or feel like it's something that's too complex to understand, and they capitalize off your lack of knowledge. And I hate it.
Listen, y'all, after just listening to this show today, if you're not mad at us, give us some thumbs and some hearts. All right, it's time for us to get this credit together. Like, for real, you guys, we have to really sit down and reconsider and reevaluate our priorities.
Absolutely.
All right. So, our circle is so tight knit. The people in our circle, credit is a priority. Us having high credit, I mean, we are literally doing a credit challenge.
Yes.
All right. Well, we got people running towards that 750 and above credit score. All right. People in our circle, we care about this. All right. We care about not only having good credit, but teaching this to our children, and then for them to teach it to their children. All right. And for all generations to be knowledgeable. We care about being debt free. We know how to cut back. We know how to say, nah, I ain't going out tonight. I'm trying to save my money. This is my year to be debt free. Well, I don't have a savings. I'm not going to spend my extra money after paying my bills on the club. I got to put this towards a contingency fund or an emergency fund. Our mentality is just different, and we feel like that's what makes us royalty. And that's
Absolutely.
What we want for everybody, you guys. Being royal is more than just knowing where you come from. You have to be able to leave wealth, build wealth for yourself and for the generations behind you. All right. You're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children's children, right? All right. To me, that says royalty, but a lot of us are just not thinking that way. So this is what we want to do. We want to challenge every person watching this video, listening to our show. We want to challenge y'all by the time we come on next Thursday to apply as many of those steps that we've taught.
Absolutely.
All right. In the beginning of the video, pull that credit report, see where you are, do some research on how to dispute things, do some research on how to build that credit back up, see what's contributing to your score being what it is. Really dedicate the next 7 days to just learning. All right. We're going to check in with y'all too next week. And when you hop on this video, I want you to say, I did my homework.
Absolutely. And really, this 1 week gives you the ability to get up to the point to where you're at least disputing it.
Yes.
If you find out, how to access the letters and all of the things, now you're at a place to where you just like, hey, I sent my first dispute letter. I followed this, I pulled my reports, I understood how to read it, and see what I needed to dispute, and I sent out some dispute letters. So it gives you a window. So we want to challenge you like we're challenging our circle. Like she said, our network consists of people who are serious about bettering their finances. Yeah. Credit being one of those pieces. We already have people in the, 800 club, meaning they have credit scores above 800, some just entered the 700 club, because we understand as we do this as a group, this is just one piece to the puzzle. Yes. Now we have a community or a network of people who have high credit score, who have good cash flow, who understand wealth principles and the proper mindset that goes into building wealth and having the abundance that's rightfully ours. So now we can cumulatively do things together, such as buy up property, real estate, hotels, things of that nature. But it all starts with being empowered first ourselves, empower others, creating a network of people who understand that. And now we do things and we really make history together. So you got to understand that. And I know our topic, our focus is always on economics, always on empowering you financially and mentally and, family as well. But we understand that money is a foundation to a lot of the problems that we see. You see, it's a direct correlation to crime, high crime and low income. Low income areas contribute to the high crime in those areas. So it's the lack of money, the lack of financial education, the lack of economic empowerment that is leading people to having high crime, low knowledge, because the school systems are kind of dictated by the income areas as well. So that being said, we understand that having a solid financial foundation could better you not only being in a position to where you're not in a high crime area, but at the same time, your school system is different, so it all ties hand in hand, but we like to focus on the finances and empower you so that you can take your future generation to the next level. But this is all about the credit. It just all goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, we're wrapping it up. If you want to take on this challenge, all right, if you accept.
Yes, if you accept.
I accept in the comments, and I'm serious. Take some action. Take some action towards bettering your credit, because, again, we're giving you free tips.
Right.
If you don't apply these free tips, again, it's not a priority for you. You say you want it, but your actions are showing something completely different. Show that you want it by checking in and saying, I pulled my credit report. I started doing what y'all told me to do. All right? So we have just a few minutes. Go ahead. Give them the mission statement.
All right. This is what you got to understand about being royalty. You see, we live in a world where we are conditioned for failure and oftentimes programmed or fooled into mediocrity. So people find themselves living like peasants instead of the royalty that they were meant to be. But you see here, we are royalty. We see the king in you. We see the queen in you from start to finish. It's time for you to take your seat on the throne, because this is where we uplift your character, your confidence, and your cash flow. As royalty, you should establish a solid financial foundation that will soon lead to your abundance and thriving empire. Take your seat on the throne. We are royalty. Salute.
Hey.